Welcome to the Accent Training Podcast, a podcast where I teach you how to use the sounds of the American accent in your spoken English. My name is Pat, and today's lesson is not something that's really specifically American. It's really more to enhance an English movement which you want to adapt in general. Today we're going to break down a handful of minimal pairs between the sounds of W and V. You see the movement to make a clear W, where we contract the corners of our lips inwards and release a vowel sound, like W, W. That lip contraction is widely used in spoken English. W uses this, R uses this, Q uses this, and then a handful of vowel sounds use this. O, ew, ow. When you enhance your muscle memory of contracting your lips, you are taking a serious step towards improving the sound of your overall spoken English. And as I've mentioned in the past, my method of coaching is to see that we get the most progress made in the least amount of time. And we do this by identifying common denominators and enhancing our muscle memory to better employ them. W and V, minimal pairs, let's jump right into them and better understand how these will enhance your spoken English. Now, real quick, let's run over the positions of these two sounds. When we pronounce a W, we raise our tongue in the back of our mouth to touch the top teeth in the back. We keep our teeth close together. We don't want to drop our jaw down deeply. We keep the teeth close. And then we contract the corners of our lips inwards to make a woo position. Once we have that position, we simply release the contraction of the lips into your favorite vowel sound. This can sound like wah, wuh, wee. So that's the movement for a W. V, on the other hand, has a much more relaxed position. Your tongue is more flat in your mouth. It doesn't need to make any special movement. Your bottom lip, however, does all the work here. You see, we do not contract our lips for the V sound. When we go, ooh, ooh, we don't want to contract our lips to make a woo, woo position. Instead, we lightly touch the inner part of our bottom lip to the top teeth. And we just pass some voice out there. Ooh, ooh. Now, to clarify a couple of things, I did not say we make pressure of our bottom lip against our teeth. That's something a lot of folks mix up. They'll make pressure of the bottom lip on the top teeth and get a B sound. To an American's ears, this sounds closer to a B than a V. And so we want the inner, wet, fleshy part of your bottom lip to lightly touch your top teeth and allow your voice to just pass through lightly without bursting out. Ooh. And then we can add a vowel sound after that. Va. V. V. So that's the big difference here. W contracts the lips. V has the bottom lip lightly touch the top teeth. Now, a lot of folks around the world do not hear the difference between these two sounds. And it's because if there isn't a distinction between these sounds in your native language, then your ears are not adjusted to hear the difference. And so repeat after me a handful of minimal pairs to get things moving in your brain and in your ears and your muscles to better feel and hear the difference between these two sounds. Repeat after me. Went, vent. Went, contracting the corners of my lips before I release the vowel. Vent. The air flows out unrestricted and the corners of my lips are static, totally unmoving. Now let's make a couple sentences here. They went away. Clean the vent. They went away. Clean the vent. Let's see another two words here. West and vest. West, contracting the lips. Vest. My bottom lip lightly touches my top teeth. And now let's put those into a couple phrases. We went west. We went west. And with vest, grab your vest. Grab your vest. Bottom lip touching the top teeth lightly. Next minimal pair. While. Vial. While, contracting the corners of my lips. Vial. My inner bottom lip lightly touches my top teeth. Vial. And a quick phrase. Once in a while. Once in a while. And notice with the word once, it's spelled O-N-C-E with an O spelling, but I pronounce it with a W sound. Wah. Once in a while. That is to say sometimes. Every once in a while. Versus, oh, that smells vile. That smells vile. That's to say that smells terrible. It's nauseating. It's disgusting. It's vile. That smells vile. Lots of things in this world smell vile, right? It's good to know how to describe it. Use that phrase for yourself. Practice your V sound. And I have one final minimal pair that I'd like to discuss with you today. Worst and versed. Worst, versed. Here's a quick little idiom with worst. If worst comes to worst. That's right. That's an idiomatic expression. If worst comes to worst. And that's a commonly used one too. What does that mean, if worst comes to worst? Well, this means if every bad situation happens at the same time. If worst comes to worst. This is like if our worst case scenario occurs. If worst comes to worst. And notice I'm saying this with if. This idiom is usually used in the conditional context. If worst comes to worst, this is what I will do. If worst comes to worst, I'll go home. If worst comes to worst, we'll quit trying. If worst comes to worst. Great idiomatic expression. I highly recommend that you use it. And the other word that we're seeing here in this minimal pair after worst is versed, with the V. Versed. If somebody is well versed, it means that they have well prepared a script. They've prepared what they're going to say meticulously. They're well versed. This can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. For example, if you go into a job interview and the interviewer says, they're well versed, it's not necessarily a compliment. It's kind of like saying they've memorized what they're going to say. They aren't very adaptable. However, if you are trying to sell somebody something, and you need to convince them to make a purchase or to invest, it's better to have your arguments ready and to know exactly what words to say at what time. That is in the world of sales and marketing. It's better to be well versed. But in a job interview, you want to be adaptable. You don't want to be well versed. You just might look like a robot. So to quickly recap our 4 minimal pairs of today to enhance your W and V muscle memory. Repeat back to me. Went and vent. West. Vest. While. Vile. Worst. Versed. And our idiomatic expression for today, if worst comes to worst. If worst comes to worst, we'll just get it in a little late. And that's it for today, my friends. That's what I've got for you. Just a brief exercise to ensure that your muscles and your ears develop appropriately. And if you like what you heard today, make sure that you are subscribed to this podcast so that you're notified as soon as I have more lessons out for you. I appreciate your support, folks. I appreciate my listeners, and the fact that they subscribe to this means a lot to me. And you know what I've done because I appreciate you folks so much? I've got ahead, and I've created a Patreon page. I've created a Patreon page. Now, what is Patreon? Well, Patreon is a website where you can get premium content. What does that mean? That means you gotta pay a little bit for it. It means it's gonna cost you something. But you know what? There's no shame in investing in your education. There's no shame in investing in your skills. So if you like what you've learned today and you want more materials to better understand not only the W sound, but what steps you can take to better develop an American accent for yourself, open the link in the description. It'll bring you straight to my Patreon, where I've already got a whole bunch of lessons up, ready to go, and you can start taking some serious steps to see change in your spoken English. In the meantime, I've got to go. So, thank you for your time today. Thank you for practicing this W sound with me. I do appreciate your effort, and I'm proud of you for the time commitment that you're making to affect change and improve your spoken English. We're going to continue moving forward in the days to come, and have a good one, folks.